here with Phil Davis. Phil, you have this tournament coming up, and for me, it's a cool thing because we don't, as MMA fans, we don't get tournaments like this, and it reminds everybody automatically of the Pride Days and the memories of that, and those fights were epic. So for you, how excited are you, and what were your initial reactions? Like, hey, I'm not only fighting to get a chance to fight for the title at the very end, if you win the tournament and you get that shot, but being a part of an event like this, because this is a spectacular event too.
Right. You know, it's too cool of an experience to pass up. It's like, how, why, you know? Later on, when people are like, oh man, remember when Bellator did that first tournament? Man, that was so awesome. And you know, this guy and that guy, blah 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 blah. I want my name to be in that conversation.
Is it a weird thing to approach it, given that you're fighting 2 fights in one night? I know it's a little bit different than a wrestling tournament, because in a wrestling tournament, they're still brutal. You have to weigh in sometimes the next day, but you're getting hit in this thing, you know?
Changes things.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say it's like anything I've ever done before. I can't say, oh, I'm doing something special to prepare for it, because, again, I mean, I would need to have done something like this before to have a little bit more insight on how to prepare myself for 2 fights in one night. So, not really. I don't think you have to change much. Just stick to what you know works.
Is it nerve-wracking at all, or scary at all, knowing that, okay, I get this fight done and I still got another fight, and it's like within like an hour limit of the last fight that I had?
It's a little nerve-wracking, but at the same time, I mean, the other guy's also had another fight, so I'm a little happier that way.
What do you make of the opening round, getting Emanuel Newton?
You know, I like it. I like it. I can't complain. You know, he's a great fighter, and you know, it's just not every day you get to go against guys who are top-notch caliber like he is. He's an exciting fighter. I've looked forward to fighting him for a long time.
Is it almost better to have him in the first round, or do you feel style-wise it would have been better to have him in the second round instead of the winner of the Mo fight?
No. You know, he's the fastest guy in the tournament. I want him first round.
Yeah. You know, when you look at the past fights he's done, and you sizing him up as a fighter, does he bring anything that you haven't ever seen in your career? You've been fighting for, what, 7-8 years now, so you've seen a lot of styles in there. Is he any different, or what you've seen in there you're pretty familiar with?
No, I think it's arrogant to say he doesn't have anything I haven't seen. I think he's a lot different than a lot of guys. But I will say that, you know, guys that have a very unconventional style,
he's super awkward.
Super awkward.
Yeah.
Super awkward. You know, he's just one of those guys. You know, there's nobody. I can't just, you know, bring in somebody to, you know, simulate that. He's a certain kind of guy. He's very different, very unique. But at the same time, I'm still very confident in this fight. I like basic things, high percentage moves, high percentage techniques. That's my philosophy. It has been in wrestling and in fighting. And what that allows me to do is, A, take a lot less damage than a lot of people, and I may not land a spinning heel kick, but you also won't see me get knocked out doing something stupid. So that gives me a lot of confidence. When guys have a very explosive style where they do things that are just unbelievable, I look at that and say, that is a wide open door for you to get in a completely horrible position and not know how to get out. So yeah, that gives me confidence.
So you think that, given that he leaves himself open to a lot of bad positions?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
A lot of risk is definitely, it's a good thing. There's a lot of reward, but there's also a lot of danger.
Training for this, so you got Emanuel, and then you got the winner of the other matchup. Are you having to make multiple game plans, or because it's so many, you just kind of have to just focus on what you do and just make it that much better?
Yeah, that's really what you do. You don't have to like change too much about myself to beat this guy, to beat that guy. Now I'm just a bad version of a fighter. I'm a much better fighter when I am the best Phil Davis and not trying to stop what he does or trying to stop what he does. When I'm good at what I do, I naturally just stop people from winning.
This signing with Bellator, it took a lot of people by surprise. For you, when did it start making sense for you to maybe go ahead and switch?
It's one of those things. It's completely a business decision, and you have to approach it like that. There's no hurt feelings in changing companies. You just have to look at it in terms of financial gain. I mean, it is what it is. There's not like there is a such thing as not everything has to be explained monetarily. But having said that, those other things weren't being brought to the table. So,
well, did the new sponsorship deal that they had have a lot to do with it?
No, I signed with Bellator before the sponsorship deal.
But you were aware of all you guys.
We were aware that there was a pending arrangement with another company, but that didn't influence my decision. My decision was based on my fight contract, and sponsors will come and go, and unfortunately, that's just how things are. You cannot plan for that part, but the fighting part, I have to be able to plan for, and that was the part that influenced my decision.
So there wasn't one single event or thing where you went like, you know what, this is the last straw, I'm gonna go ahead and make a switch?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really as simple as if I go to the store to get 2 sodas, and soda number 1 is $2, and soda number 2 is $1.50. I'm going to go with the $1.50 soda.
Yeah.
However, in its reverse, if company A is going to pay me $1 and company B wants to pay me $1.50, I'm going to take the $1.50. It's just smart economics.
Why do you feel there's a lot of fighters now making the jump over to Bellator, in your opinion?
I think other people are deciding the same way, that hey, maybe I should just go with the smarter deal.
Yeah. When people leave the UFC, they start speaking up a little bit more about the pay structure's unfair, sponsor structure's unfair. You were in a lot of big fights. Part of you agree with those people that have spoken out, saying like, you know what, they don't pay us enough. Obviously you're making more at a different organization, so you have a better insight into that.
Right. The only sentiment I wish to express to any company that I fought for along the way is just gratitude. I am who I am because I fought for this company and I advanced my career, and I just want to say thank you. I have nothing bad to say, and I don't wish to badmouth anybody, but as I've progressed in my career, I'm in a better position. So, I just want to say thank you.
So you felt the love from them. It wasn't anything how other fighters have spoken up, like, oh, I wasn't appreciated, or I was underpaid, or anything like that.
I can't speak for other guys. I can only speak for myself. And going from my first fight to right now, where I am in my career, I've made more and more money, and I've been thankful and blessed that I've only suffered a few losses, and I've beat some big names, and I think every promotion that I've ever fought for has given me a very fair shake. So I'm thankful.
I'm gonna put this scenario out to you. So in the boxing world, there's a bunch of promoters, and some promoters don't do business with other promoters. There's a fighter like, for instance, a Timothy Bradley, who can only fight a certain number of fighters because Aaron won't do business with other companies. I asked him this question, hey, is it frustrating knowing that you only have a limited amount of opponents? And he told me, he was honest with me, he's like, yeah, it is. You know, I want to fight these guys and I can't because I'm with this guy. Now, in a similar way, Bellator's pool is growing. You know, they do have plans for the future, but is it not a concern, but do you look at it and be like, wait a second, you know, like I might end up clearing out my division in a year?
So is the question,
do you look at it like that, you know, like there might be a concern there that, you know, there might not be high level opposition for you?
No, because I think that as more guys tend to see that there's opportunities with other companies, they'll do the smart thing, and they'll make themselves the object of every other fight promotion, and make them, you know, when teams in other sports want a player, they have to outbid the other teams, and that is what the fighters have to understand, is that you are the person that makes the thing run. You're the machine that makes the whole thing run. And so when they realize that, hey, I can go somewhere else and make more money, they will. Until then, I can't say that it's frustrating for me to fight what someone else may call lesser competition for more money. It doesn't make sense to fight quote unquote better competition for less money. That doesn't make sense to me. How do you call yourself better with it, which in fact, if we're professionals, that's usually defined by money, correct? Is it usually defined by money when you're talking about a professional?
When you're at the best, you get paid more, the most.
So we're talking about money. Okay, so all right.
All right. I'll end it with that. You're reassured. You know, you're happy because you're getting paid more.
I'm happy.
And lastly, you know, we know Dana White is at times can be a hard boss, but how's Scott been interacting with Scott?
You know, I like Dana, and I also like Scott. I think Scott is, you know, he's like one of those guys. I was having this conversation with somebody just recently. You know, he's like, you know, fighters just like to fight for him, man. You know, he's like Coach Belichick. Players just love to play for Coach Belichick, man. He's just the man. You know, I don't know how else to say it. He's the man.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, people want to fight for him, and I always wonder, like, why? Like, why? How is this guy? Is he just motivate you guys, or is the way he talks to you guys?
You know, it's the little things. Little things go a long way. You make a person feel appreciated and thank them. It goes a long way. And it's not to say that hasn't happened in other places. I think he is an exceptional person because he goes the extra mile when he does so.
Excellent. Well, Phil, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck on September 19th.
Thank you.